Hi, I'm Thea from Connecticut. Please like and subscribe. I didn't grow up in a normal household. Dad basically raised me all by himself because Mom was a teenager trapped in an adult's body. She partied every night and didn't come home until 3 a.m. She asked me to make her breakfast every day. Can you make Mommy waffles? I don't know how to make waffles. I'm 6. But I'll let you have some of my Cocoa Puffs. Dad wasn't happy with Mom's behavior, and the two got divorced when I was 8. Dad and I lived on our own for the next few years. I was kind of a nerdy loner, but my life was good. I got straight A's, I played the trumpet, and I was super close with Dad. One day when I was in 10th grade, things took a big turn. Dad fell in love with a widow who he married later on. The minute we moved in with her, I knew I liked her. Your dad told me you got an A on your history test. So to celebrate, I baked you a cake. You baked me a cake because I ate one test? Okay, Dad, she's a total Mom had 2 daughters, Brenda and Lily, who were a year older than me. But they clearly hated that their mom had met someone, so they refused to talk to me and Dad. Unfortunately, my stepmom didn't have the best relationship with her actual daughters. Brenda was a wild child who stole money from my stepmom's purse to buy cigarettes. Lily was busy being the school queen bee and dating a different boy every week. She barely passed her classes. Of course, just sleep till noon, don't do your homework, and waste your life. I wish you two were more like Thea. Wish you two were more like Thea. She's smart, talented, helps me with chores, and doesn't steal my credit card. The closer I grew with my stepmom, the more my stepsisters started hating me. One day I was sitting in class and started itching like crazy. That's when Lily started snickering. Does the kitty have fleas? This isn't funny. I could have a serious skin infection. The teacher sent me to the nurse and found itching powder in my pants. I just knew Lily had sprinkled it in there. I was really mad and I wanted to tell stepmom, but I decided to let it go this time, just because I didn't want to make things worse between us. But that thought never occurred to those two. They kept stealing my stuff, breaking my things, and leaving unpleasant little presents for me. One time, I was on my way to school when suddenly a bunch of girls pinned my arms behind my back, and with them were Brenda and Lily. We're gonna need your wallet, loser. I want to get a lip piercing. I need a new dress for a party this weekend. I knew I wasn't a match for so many of them. Suddenly, I let out a scream loud enough to wake up the dead. They all looked shocked as I kept screaming like a maniac, and some people stepped out of their houses at the noise. And that sent the girls running. I was feeling quite pleased with myself. Till I got to school, a bunch of kids walked by laughing, holding up their phones. Hey, freak, don't forget to wear a diaper tonight or you'll wet your bed again. I whipped out my phone and saw the post everyone was laughing at on Instagram. Hey, freak, don't forget to wear a diaper tonight or you'll wet your bed again. I whipped out my phone and saw the post everyone was laughing at on Instagram. Brenda and Lily had photoshopped my head on the top of a baby's body. The caption read, "Our poor stepsister still wets her bed." I felt my blood boil. At recess, I scanned the cafeteria for my sisters. Brenda wasn't there, so I marched up to Lily's table. Everyone thinks I'm a freak now because of you and Brenda. You two know very well I don't wet my bed. Oh, Thea, don't be embarrassed. I've told everyone I'd help you find a doctor for your problem. Either you tell everyone at school that you lied, or I'm going to tell Mom you're failing half your subjects. You wouldn't do that if you know what's good for you. We can make your life a living hell. But I was bubbling with rage, and I'd had enough now. Not only did I tell stepmom all about Lily's awful grades, I told her about the bedwetting rumor, the itching powder, and how the girls had tried to steal my wallet. And as Brenda walked into the room, I decided to make up a lie. Oh, and Brenda joined a gang. She cut lunch today because she was hanging out with other gangsters behind the school. It's her gang members who attacked me. I did not join a gang. My friends and I may have shoplifted a few things in the past, but I'm not in a gang, witch. Suddenly, she leapt forward and pounced on me, yanking my hair hard. My stepmom pulled us apart and refused to believe a word she said. She was beyond angry at those two. My stepmom pulled us apart and refused to believe a word she said. She was beyond angry at those two and grounded them for a whole month without any gadgets. And I didn't feel bad at all because they really deserved it. But thankfully, by the next week, everyone seemed to have forgotten about the bedwetting rumor. I even made some friends who wanted to sit next to me in the cafeteria. And then one day in biology class, Oliver, the hottest guy in school, tossed me a folded paper. It read, "I have good news for you. I'm single, I think you're pretty, and I'm free tonight." I laughed out loud at the corny pickup line, and the teacher glared at me. Still, no guy had ever hit on me before. I wrote Oliver my phone number and spent the rest of the day giggling and daydreaming like an idiot. Then all of a sudden, Lily slammed me against the locker. "Get off me, you witch!" Rumor has it that Oliver asked you out. Well, guess what? He's my ex-boyfriend, which means he's off limits. Please, you've basically dated every guy in school. I'm sure you can spare one of your exes. It's the sister code. You're never supposed to date a sister's ex. You've been horrible to me ever since I moved in with you. Why should I follow any sister code? I stormed off, and just then, I got a text from Oliver. "Meet me at the movie theater tonight?" I asked Dad and Stepmom's permission before going on a date, and they said yes. "Let me braid your hair, sweetheart. Your first date with a boy? How exciting!" Her first date? With my ex-boyfriend. Mom, it's so unfair. Her first date? With my ex-boyfriend. Mom, it's so unfair. No guy has ever asked me out before. Now even Nerdy McDork has a date. Brenda, maybe you'd get more dates if you weren't always getting into trouble. And Lily, don't be selfish. You've already had your fair share of boyfriends. Brenda and Lily glared at me, but I didn't care. I was going on my first date, and it went perfectly. Oliver brought me a cherry slushie so we could share the 2 straws. And halfway through the movie, Oliver held my hand and kissed me. I decided then that I was going to make Oliver my boyfriend. Was I going to let myself be a nerdy outcast my whole life? No, I was not. Oliver and I started dating, and I totally transformed myself. I replaced my glasses with contacts and started wearing makeup. It's sad that you think a little mascara will make you as pretty as me. Funny you say that. Oliver seems to like me just the way I am. Let's hope he doesn't dump you the way he dumps Lily. Apparently, she wasn't pretty enough for him. Lily got really silent, and I could see tears in her eyes. Oliver had dumped a girl like Lily? Before I knew what I was doing, I put my hand on Lily's shoulder, but she jerked it away angrily. Ew, don't touch me, you creep. Thanks for telling her about me and Oliver, Brenda. You're the worst. No wonder you never get any dates. Lily left the room in a huff, and Brenda turned bright red. I wanted to say something, but I knew I'd be no help. I was my sister's sworn enemy at that point. The next day, but I knew I'd be no help. I was my sister's sworn enemy at that point. The next day at school, I went up to Oliver reluctantly. I gotta ask you something. You dated my stepsister Lily, right? Yeah, worst mistake I ever made. You mean 'cause she wasn't pretty enough for you? No. 'Cause she's a Dumbo who fails half her classes and only cares about clothes. Listen, I got a surprise for you. Suddenly, Oliver reached into his locker and pulled out a flower bouquet. Prom is next weekend, Thea. Tell me you'll go with me. Just then, I saw Lily standing in the corner, watching me. I answered yes before I could think. I had a date to prom, and my sisters were getting their karma. Then suddenly, as I walked down the stairs with Oliver, Lily walked up to me. She bumped into me and I tripped, tumbling down a flight of stairs. Kids gathered around me and someone called an ambulance. When I got to the hospital, the doctor treating me said I wouldn't be able to walk for a month. I was stuck in a wheelchair, and every night before I went to sleep, my dad and stepmom had to lift me into bed. Lily never apologized. In fact, she and Brenda started totally ignoring me. Then a couple of days before prom, I wheeled into the living room to find Dad with a suitcase. Your stepmom and I are separating. Pack your bags. We're leaving in an hour. What? Why would you guys split up? After what Lily did to you, I realized we couldn't live in the same house anymore. Dad, I'll be able to walk again in a month, and I know the girls are mean, but I can deal with it.
It's not that simple, Thea. After the girls lost their dad, Brenda became a complete train wreck. Lily struggles in school because she has a learning disability. And then you made things worse by dating the boy who broke Lily's heart. And you lied about Brenda being in a gang. Yes, I know you did that. And you made things worse by dating the boy who broke Lily's heart. And you lied about Brenda being in a gang. Yes, I know you did that. I love your stepmom, but our kids come first. And I don't think it's good for you girls to be around each other. I was too shocked to speak. Dad and I left that afternoon, and I felt sick to my stomach. My stepmom didn't even see me or say goodbye. I probably meant nothing to her now. Dad and I stayed in a motel temporarily. Oliver picked me up on prom night, and I tried to forget about everything that had happened. But when we arrived at the dance, Lily marched up to Oliver and me. I can't believe you asked Thea, of all people, to be your date. Yeah, because Thea's gorgeous. And I feel bad that she has to deal with having a stepsister like you, a dumb Barbie. You should just drop out of high school, Lily. That's how stupid you are. Lily looked shocked and hurt at Oliver's words. Hey, Oliver, that's my sister. You can't speak to her like that. Lily's your stepsister. Why do you care how I speak to her? His question caught me off guard, but I knew one thing for sure. I didn't want him to be my date. I pushed him out of the way and wheeled over to Lily. I know you hate me, but let's go hang out somewhere. We don't need boys to have a good time. To my shock, Lily agreed and walked away with me before Oliver could answer. We had to use the bathroom, and when we entered, we heard someone crying. We opened one of the stalls to see Brenda in a mess. Oh my God, what happened to you? I'm an idiot. What's wrong? Some criminal boy... I'm an idiot. What's wrong? Some criminal boy asked me out to prom, and I said yes because he was cute. But then he told me to steal something from an old lady, and I refused. He and his friends threw me out of their car into the middle of nowhere. I had to hitchhike here. Brenda, why do you do stuff like this? Hang out with criminals, smoke cigarettes? You're better than that. My mom was sort of like that. She lived this wild life and always came home a disaster. I don't want you to end up like that. Lily and I helped Brenda clean up, but when we finished, the girls looked awkward and said they were going to go home. I thought we'd had a friendly moment and I'd finally made a breakthrough, but maybe I was wrong. But the following week, I came home from school to find the motel door open, and Dad and my stepmom were sitting together on the couch. What's going on? Sweetie, your stepmom and I are getting back together. We shouldn't have let the issues with you girls ruin our relationship. It may take some time for you, Brenda, and Lily to adjust to this new life, but we're here for you. Suddenly, I started to cry and wheeled over to hug my parents. Thea, we may not be related, but I love you like my own daughter. I love you too. I've never had a real mom before. A short while later, my parents invited Brenda and Lily over and told them everything. They went completely silent. Lily, Brenda, I love you both so much, and I'm proud of you. Having Thea and her father a part of the family won't change that. Can you try to accept them? Yeah, we could. Thea, you're not as bad as I thought. Brenda and I were talking about it, and it means so much the way you helped us out that night at prom. We don't hate you anymore, and we're sorry for the way we've treated you. I think I'm ready for a fresh start, you guys.
I'm Janie, and 3 years ago, I started dating Eric.
Hi guys!
He's
It's
really
only
good
two, yeah?
looking and works
And
as an
this is a
investment
tutorial on
banker,
how to
so
make
he
paper
makes a
squishes.
lot of money.
You'll need
I couldn't
scissors,
believe a guy like him wanted to date
markers
me.
of your choice,
After we went
a
out a few
pencil,
times, I
an
wanted to go
eraser,
steady,
a
but
paper,
then he told me that he
and fluff.
wasn't interested in a
Next, you need to
long-term
fold your paper in
relationship
half,
because
then draw
he
it
wanted to
aside by
focus
the
on his
folded part.
career. He said we
Now
could
cut
still
it in
see
your
each other,
design.
but it would never be anything serious.
Now just cut out your
That was the
design.
last thing I wanted to hear.
Now that it's
What
cut
was
out,
worse was that
tape
there were
it.
lots of
Make
girls
sure you
around
leave
him
a
at work,
space
and
here
I
so you
knew
can
they
stuff
all
it.
wanted to steal him
We're
away
using
from
this
me.
stuffer. Now that
That's
you've
why
stuffed
I
it,
decided to
tape it on
baby
the
trap
place that you
Eric.
stuffed it. And
He
then
knew I
here's
was
your
on the
finished
pill,
squishy.
so I stopped taking it without telling him. And a few weeks later, I was pregnant. Of course, he was shocked when I told him the news,
Hope
but
this helped.
Eric is very
See you guys
responsible,
next
so
time.
he stepped up and said,
Bye.
we have to stay together for the kids. That was the happiest day of my life. Do I feel bad for trapping him like that? Believe it or not, I really do feel bad. And I wouldn't recommend baby trapping your boyfriend to anyone. But what would you prefer? Working a dead-end job you hate, or staying home with your cute little boy while your ambitious boy deserved to be with him after I baby-trapped him? Maybe not. But I can't change the past, and that's why I simply focus on being the best girlfriend I can. I make sure he has a home-cooked meal when he comes back from work. I take time to listen to his problems, and our relationship is just amazing. I think he might even propose to me soon. What's even better is that I met his parents and they are really wealthy. Someday, Eric will inherit their money, and he'll be able to retire early so we can travel the world together. By now, you might be thinking that I'm only with Eric for his money, and if he lost it all, I would leave him, but that's not true at all. You see, my family is the most important thing in my life. I would never be happy if we weren't all together. That's why I want to have a second child. Eric's a great dad, and Jacob would love a little brother or sister. This time, I talked to Eric before coming off the pill. At first, he didn't want to, but in the end, he agreed, because he knows it would make our family complete. He trusts me, and I trust him. We are a team, and that's how a relationship should be. I still wish I hadn't baby-trapped him, because I will always feel guilty about it, but I will never tell him what I did, because I'm not going to risk breaking up our family. It's a heavy weight on my shoulders, but I think I